here is something that's a really, really interesting story that is sort of somewhat of a conundrum here. Because obviously we know that Michael Cohen had pled guilty to charges of tax fraud, but more importantly, election campaign finance laws, which implicates Donald Trump in that he actually broke the law due to what Donald Trump was telling him to do. So he was directed by the president. So that is some criminal implications with Donald Trump, our president. And with the Supreme Court justice opening up the seat, we have Brett Kavanaugh, who is the nominee, who's an insane guy, wants to overturn Roe v. Wade. He also wrote some crazy stuff like, it's very clear why Trump picked him. Just quickly go over, because he wrote that indicting a sitting president would be a terrible idea, because it would mean that basically the presidency will be focusing on maintaining his seat or some shit like that. So it's very obvious why he chose it. But this article here says, Dem Senator cancels Kavanaugh meeting amid calls for confirmation hearing to be postponed. So now the question is, we clearly, very crystal clearly have, and I already knew this anyways, now we have literal proof of it, we have Michael Cohen pleading guilty, admitting that he and Donald Trump violated election campaign finance laws. So you're talking about someone who, potentially or really is criminally, implicated, Donald Trump. He is criminally implicated in this case. Now what you're talking about is a potential someone who has broken the law as our president, a criminal basically, choosing a Supreme Court justice nominee to go through the Senate for, verification. That is a pretty crazy scenario you're talking about there, because you're talking about a president who's broken the law, and he's about to appoint a justice who's going to sit on there for decades, man. They serve for life, and they do not hesitate to keep going every year. So those fools are finna be there for a shit ton of time. So it's a really weird situation. I don't know. I'm not really sure how to feel about this, but let me just read you guys this article from The Hill. It says, Senator Mazie Hirono said Wednesday that she would cancel a meeting with President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, after Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, implicated the president in a hush money scheme. Quote, I will be canceling my opponent with Judge Kavanaugh because I choose not to extend a courtesy to this president who is an unindicted co-conspirator of meeting with his nominee. Hirono also blasted Kavanaugh as, quote, a nominee who is being nominated because the president expects him to protect Trump. So that is totally true. That is very, very clear that is the reason why Trump has picked him. And we know that by all of his statements prior. He said that, you shouldn't be able to indict a sitting president because, it essentially comes down to protecting the seat or whatever the fuck. But I also want to say that there are some massive questions about Brett Kavanaugh, and what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to speed this nomination through with the least amount of information getting through to the Senate, most importantly, and the people, because they just want to get him through. They just want him essentially rubber stamped in. That's what they want. They want him to get rubber stamped in. So this is really a dangerous thing. I think there was some weird thing about him, like, I forgot what it was, something to do with baseball games he's spending money on, and it seemed extremely suspicious. So this is a really shady situation. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this down below. Let me know what you guys think.